Hello folks. So when it starts getting to be a little bit fallish and damp outside, perhaps a little cool, a little rainy, is when I started thinking about Ireland and Irish coffee. What better way to do it than with Washington and Old Dominion coffee. So right here we have some Mexicali Blue that we'll be using. We have some Bushmills 10-year-old single malt. Talk a little bit about that. And of course, Ready Whip, the real cream in a can. And we're putting that all together to make a wonderful drink to have on a cool day. And we'll be making Irish coffee. So stay tuned, check it out, and enjoy. I'm aware that there's purists out there who are not going to like what we're doing here. And I probably get thrown out of most pubs in Galway. We're not using any added sugar. We're using whipped cream in a can. But come on, guys. This is easy, and it's good, and it's even fun. For today's Irish coffee, I've made the decision to use Mexicali Blue. Somehow, to me, the combination of Mexican Irish seems like an awfully good idea. So I'll talk a little bit more about this particular blend of Mexicali Blue, and then we're going to get on with making the coffee. What is this Mexicali Blue? Well, Mexicali Blue is, again, a Washington Old Dominion Coffee Traders coffee. It's a full city roast of the mountain-grown, Rainforest Alliance certified coffee grown in the state of Puebla, Mexico. Now, those that profess to know might describe Mexicali Blue as subtle yet spicy, chocolatey, with brown sugar and hints of nuts and green apples towards the finish. Well, I don't know. I can say I've tried it, and I can tell you it's a pretty fine, smooth coffee. And it's not one I'd gripe about, but you can decide and see for yourself. So here we have the whiskey that we're going to be using. We'll be talking a little bit more about Bushmills in the future, but this just happens to be the whiskey that I have handy today. And we'll talk a little bit about that, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to make the coffee. So our exhibit here is a Bushmills 10-year-old single malt Irish whiskey. Now, maybe it's not the finest whiskey available in Ireland, but best I can tell, it may have one of the finest stories, and stories are where it's at. So here's the deal. According to what I read, way back in the year 1276, there was a settler there in the area of Northern Ireland named Sir Robert Savage, who lived in Ards. And before he went to battle with the Irish, he fortified his troops with what he called a mighty drop of the aqua vita, whiskey. So then going ahead a couple of years to 1608, a license was granted to a Sir Thomas Phillips by King James I to distill whiskey on this site. Now, all of that's a long time ago, but the company that originally was put together as the old Bushmills distillery was formed in the year 1784. And this it can be found still there in Bushmills County in Antrim, Northern Ireland. So all of the different whiskeys, and there are several, bottled under the Bushmills whiskey brand, is produced at this distillery, and it all comes from water drawn from St. Colum's Rill, which is a tributary to the River Bush. So that's the story. It's a good story, and that's why we picked it for today's project. So for a much more authoritarian take on this particular whiskey, I refer you to Ralfy, Ralfy.com. This guy knows his whiskey, and here he has a few words on this particular Irish whiskey that we used. And I have the YouTube site at the bottom of the screen here that you can look at, and a link to the real deal. You don't have to take my word for it, take Ralphie's. So for this particular recipe, we're not going to use too terribly much whiskey, so I'll pour one shot of whiskey here into the glass, and that is what is going to make our coffee extra special. Here we have our ingredients. We have our coffee, Mexicali Blue, Washington Old Dominion coffee. We have our whiskey. We have some Bushmills single malt, and we have our whipped cream. Now we're going to put it together and make us a delicious concoction. The step then is to add our whiskey. Fill up our cup with fresh Mexicali Blue Washington Old Dominion coffee. I'm going to give it a little stir to make sure we have our coffee and whiskey adequately mixed. The fun part probably is to make it look pretty with the whipped cream on top. And there you have it, folks. Irish coffee. Let's give it a try, see how it tastes. Irish coffee, Washington Old Dominion coffee, Bushmills whiskey. Let's give it a try. Yeah, I can tell you coffee's not just for breakfast. It's the way to go. You ever got a cold, rainy day? I encourage it highly. And remember, don't ever drink bad coffee. Washington Old Dominion is the way to go. Thank you, folks.